Hi, I'm Tom Hakeem, and this is Meet the Candidates. As you all know, the dedication of people they put forth give us the opportunity to have good leadership in our township, and we credit them for that. I'd like to welcome my friend Jason Davidson.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Before we get into anything serious, which we won't get into too much serious as we talked about a little earlier, why don't you let people know? Tell them a little bit about you.
Yeah. Jason Davidson. I've been actually now in Clinton Township for 30 years. In my home that I'm in now for 23 years. I spent about 19 years on the Clintondale School Board. I've been actively involved in various areas of the township, married, no kids, just a cat.
I don't know if you're on the school board.
Yeah.
You had lots of kids.
Yeah, I served a lot of kids, just none of my own. It is part of our community and something that I dedicated a lot of time to.
Your background, IT background.
Yep. I've had various areas of IT, either in the business management side of it, finance side of it. More now, we're in the ITAD industry, so it's IT asset disposal. I'm a sales manager, but we're actually taking in devices, ensuring that they're properly handled after their useful life in mostly schools. I work with schools across the country, but most of it is making sure that they're secured properly, repurposed, and most importantly, kept out of the landfill.
So it's interesting that with your background, what would ever drive you to want to be on the board?
Like I said, I spent 19 years on the Clintondale board, and I always told people I don't have kids, but I'm representing all kids in our community, and not just the people that have kids in our district, but the community as a whole, because it is part of the community, and there's a need there. So I can really take a unbiased approach to it. Looking at the township, I've expressed interest in multiple election years to being on this township board, and really just a lot of the areas that I think we need to work on and have been trying to work on in this township over the years. Felt this was a good year to toss my hat back in the ring and actually get an opportunity to serve the entire community, just not pockets of it.
Interesting, because we have a couple districts in the township, and I applaud you because working with the young people and trying to make those difficult decisions. My oldest son is a principal in Indiana of 8. Now he has over 1,000 middle schoolers in his school. He was here for the weekend, and my wife's a teacher. So I believe I hear things that you can't make up. And I know at the school board level, it's very difficult to deal with all that's going on and still try to stay positive and upbeat and make a difference. I commend you on that. Township's a little different.
Yes.
Because you have adults and who are always harder than young people to deal with.
Yes, at times, yes.
One of the things that's happened through the course of time is the tension. We've become very, as a country, divided politically for whatever reason. Yep. No one to blame. You can't even have dinner with someone and they say you bring up a name and they have the other name and dinner's over. Yes. What do you feel you can bring to the township as far as being able to create some cohesiveness? Not that there's not. We had a great board here. All the people work hard. It's just it's all over. It's the same. It's very difficult to not back up into a corner where kind of being directed by what your political affiliation is.
I've worked with a lot of people, both on a school board and in different areas of my career that have varying opinions and coming from different backgrounds. We always find a way to work together. Most of the time, sometimes a little bit harder, as you said, but 80% of the stuff that goes on, we all probably want the same thing. There's 15% that we can find middle ground, and then there's 5 that, okay, we're not going to budge, but we should be able to respect. That's where you're at. This is where I'm at. it is really just taking that approach that, guys, we're here for a common purpose. We have 105,000 residents in this township. We have businesses, we have schools, we have 5 districts in this township. We need to represent them all. And we can't do it with infighting. We can't do it with, the mudslinging, this constant battle. And you're right. It's not just here, it's everywhere. But, we have to do what we can do. We can't control everything across this country, but we have to do what we can do here in Clinton Township. And on that board, those 7 members need to come together. They can disagree, but disagree in a positive, constructive fashion.
Is there, there has to be, everybody has their little pet idea. What do you see as a couple of the priorities that you would like to see addressed to improve things within the township?
Yeah, part of them, we put time, dollars, and resources behind this Groesbeck redevelopment project. And unfortunately, a lot of times we do see waivers, provided. We have a massive corridor in this township that needs to actually be addressed, and we can't allow it to just continue doing what the old way was. We have to follow the plan. We have to improve that plan. That's part one. Part two, we do have non-motorized transportation issues in this township. We have the bike path, we have some connectors here, but we still lack a lot of that. And, as somebody that's out there pretty much every weekend utilizing trails, and, I help organize a run-walk group in Mount Clemens, and, we meet all over. We have a lot of people that do enjoy the trails and do want to be out there. We just have to put some time and resources behind it to finish some of those connectors. Other communities are doing it. Other communities are getting grants. We need to do that. And quite honestly, we need people to really advocate. I know it's a staple issue everybody talks about is the roads, but we do have a lot of feeder streets in our various communities. I live at 16 in Groesbeck. We have a couple that have been completely ignored, but that should not be on the residents of those feeder streets to take care of, because that is a thoroughfare for thousands of homes, multiple schools, several churches. That has to be a collaborative effort between the township, the county, to actually work together to fix those. It can't be on the backs of those, 14, 15 houses on that feeder street.
Okay. There's a couple topics that come up in the township. Obviously, we always want to improve with the police and fire and our safety. One of the issues that most recently, over the last couple of years, has been back and forth has been the issue of marijuana in the township. Many communities right next door have done it. Stores popping up. What is your feeling about that as far as Clinton Township goes?
Well, the way the bill was passed, the amendment in the state provided authority to the local municipalities whether to permit it or not to permit it. This township has voted twice, on it. I respect the will of the people. The people have voted. If this issue comes back up and we put it back out to the community to a vote, opinions change, information changes, the vote might go the other way. I support what ultimately the voters have chosen, and right now they have chosen no for Clinton Township. Is there economic value? Possibly. Other areas have seen some growth, but it really has to be a vote of the people. And if this comes up and we decide to put it back out to the community, I support where they're going to go.
There's a very, very difficult task that comes to the board when it comes to improvements within the community. And as you said, your background, you have a good financial background, and to be frugal yet to be move forward. So how do you think that background from what you've had in the past will benefit you and benefit the township?
I've helped take budgets that were in deficit, turn those around into positive fund balances, with the still continuing the operation of the entity. Taking that and having worked with the private sector on the finance side, looking for areas of efficiency without cutting services. So taking that same approach to this board and looking at all the areas, I think there's certainly areas we probably have lacked in the past. We have to look beyond the next 3-4 year contract of everything. We have projections on where revenues are going to be in 10, 15 years. We have to stay within those confinements, because we can't just keep going out and asking for more and more because our failure to properly plan for long-term services from the fire department and police department and our general operating funds. We know where we're going to be at. We just can't say, all right, everything's great right now. Here's a bunch of money that we can't sustain 5 years from now.
And change every minute now. There's just no, when you look out to the future, it's sometimes a little bit cloudy because change happening so fast. Given the next, let's say half hour or 2 hours, actually about 3.5 minutes, tell the people of Clinton Township why should they vote for Jason?
I've been committed to this community. We've been long-term residents here. Families grown up here. Families work for this township. So we know and are committed to this township. I'm committed to this township, and I'm taking a fair approach, to it. I support people. Unfortunately, we have to pick a side. I support actually individuals coming up for this election that are on both sides because I know some of them, and I see a lot of good that they have done and what they can do here. I'm just taking this approach that we need some representation from all over this township. As I mentioned, I live at 16 Groesbeck. I've been there between that and 16 Gratiot for 30 years now. That I know this area. I want to help actually make a difference. I'm going to take a fair approach to everything that we have. At times, people are going to disagree, and other times people are going to agree. We're never going to agree on everything, but we're going to do it with a professional approach. We're going to be respectful, and I look to bring that to this township board and help actually move some of these areas forward that I feel have been idle for a while.
Well, with that said, first of all, on behalf of myself and the station and the people of Clinton Township, I want to thank you and everybody that attempts to get involved in the process now. It's a difficult task at every level,
Yes.
and there's a commitment you have to make, and I applaud you for that. And also, I want to wish you the best in the election. Get
Appreciate
out
it.
there and
Yes.
tell it like it is. This is Tom Hakeem for Meet the Candidates.